They say dreams come true, and they did when Bez won his home Grand Prix for Aprilia. Absolutely fantastic stuff. They have ruined the stranglehold that Ducati had on their home Grand Prix in Mugello. That's not to say Ducati didn't have a very good weekend, plus a slightly controversial clash we are going to get into. But winner Bez, but was he the man of the race? Well, we have our winners and losers coming up, and what I'd like to say is Peco Bagnaia, he spoils what could have been an Aprilia 1, 2, 3, which was, you know, not too bad at all. So as you can see here, this is Bagnaia taking back that third after essentially Agora went a bit wide. And yeah, he takes him back as obviously Bez ends up winning. But how close is this? I mean, how close is this between the podium contenders, Agora and Bagnaia? Another 10, 20 metres. It could have been different maybe. But yeah, what an absolute end. And Peco joining in the celebrations in front of his home fans was absolutely fantastic to watch. A podium. It's been a while, hasn't it? Has it even been this year? That's the big question, but it's been a while. So well done, Peco Bagnaia. And Agora missed out on that podium by 0.034 seconds from 13th on the grid. You have to wonder, they keep on saying it on the commentary as well, when this guy gets his qualifying sorted, he's going to be a dangerous man. He's very kind on the tide. He's very good at. He is the Moto GP tyre whisperer. He's also the Moto GP great controversial incidents in Italy, because this was him and Pedro Acosta. So at this point, he'd gone round the out. I think, you know, he's on the outside of Pedro Acosta, and I think he kind of just like slammed the door. Now, whether you can't tell me he didn't know he was there, because on, you know, you're on a motorbike, you don't need wing mirrors, you sense. And this is what Agora did, okay? Here we go. I mean, look. Acosta's alongside him. He's not out of control. And he just slammed into him like that, look. I mean, part of me wonders, is there going to be another penalty coming Agora's way? He just, like, he's like, yeah, okay, I'm just going to take you out. It was not good at all. Again, Agora is like, yeah, see you later, Acosta. I mean, it's almost like he's playing Sega's Road Rash more than anything else. And I think Acosta, you know, at this point, he'd earned a bit of space. And he's coming. It's almost like he's there. And I mean, I think they've already, you know, I get it. I think they've already hit the apex. Yeah, that was a bad form by Agora. What do you think? Comment below. Let me know. But I'm not a massive fan. Here we go. Yeah. I think he'd earn a bit of space, if I'm honest. Not good at all from Agora. And also, let's give another massive congratulations to Marquez. It says here from ESPN MotoGP, the Warrior is back. Think about this, less than 3 weeks, 20 days between one photo and the other. Marquez underwent another operation on his arm, bringing it to 7 operations on that same spot. Even so, he managed a 7th place on his return. That is nothing. That's nothing to turn your nose up about. Absolute legend. This guy is insane. So well done, Marc Marquez. And this was Marc Marquez's racing. I mean, look at this, going from back into 4th with what is a double overtake at the time. I think it's Agora and Pedro Acosta. And Marquez very much behind the two. Here we go. In Mugello, we do have that nice long straight. And here he comes. Marc Marquez going through. I mean, it's brilliant, isn't it? Let's see again. Here's Marc Marquez. Look at that. Going through. He almost dummies him. He's like, no, I'm going to go on the inside. Uses all that power of the Ducati down the long straight. And let's be fair, you're not going to be, you need to wake up very early on a Sunday to outbreak Marc Marquez, and then he continues, which ended up being obviously 7th place, but absolutely fantastic. And another nod, let's be fair, to Carl Crutchlow, who had an amazing job. I mean, yeah, he qualified last. I get it, but something wrong with the bike that was really sad to see. It would have been brilliant had he actually finished his race. Will he be in Hungary? We don't know yet. I'd like to think they'll probably announce it on Monday if they haven't done so already by the time you listen to this or see this video. But we'll But we'll no doubt have to say, yeah. Really good job from him to get in there with, let's be fair, minimal training, minimal preparation, and do what he did and be as close to, in general, the MotoGP runners is an amazing job at 40. It needs to be applauded. So this is your results. It was Marco Bezzetti winning by 3.5 seconds. Fairly comfortable in the end. He took the lead from Bagnaia on about lap 14. He never looked back. Bagnaia finishing 5 seconds behind Aya Agora, 5.132. We know how close that finish was. Fabio Di Guanantonio, 11th in 5.4 seconds down. Pedro Costa, 7.4 seconds down. Marc Marquez, 10.7 seconds. Just 10.7 seconds. Remember, about 3 weeks ago, he was having that operation on his shoulder. What's interesting as well, he said now he can come back and actually write the pace notes. It's not as painful, which is looking good for the rest of the year. Can he come back and fight for that championship? Aldeguer in 8th, 14.6 seconds down. Fernandez 9th, 13.38 seconds down. Moreira 10th, 21.36 seconds down. That's your top 10. And then 11th was Brad Binder, Joan Mayer, Luca Marini, Franco Morbidelli, Jack Miller getting those points. Yeah, he finished. Well done, Jack Miller. Top rack. Jack Miller being the highest Yamaha runner. Top Gun Maverick in 17th. 18th was Quartararo. 19th was Pirro. And kind of like not really classified were Bastianini, Alex Rins and Carl Crutcher. Alex Rins and Bastianini basically not really finishing that. But this is how your World Championship looks now, with Bezzecchi 17 points now in the lead from Jorge Martin. Gin Antonio 39 seconds back with 134. Pedro Costa 70 points back with 103. God, this guy was leading, isn't it, going into round number 2. Aya Agora in 5th, 81 points down. He's got 92. He does get ahead of Fernandez in 6th. Bagnaia in 7th. Overtakes Marc Marquez, who is now 8th, 102 points down. But never say never. It is still quite early in the season. If you remember, if you ever watched Formula 1, Max Verstappen nearly won last year's championship by being 100 points down. And that was a lot later on in that season. You never know. And we have sprint races here as well, remember. And constant sprint races every weekend. Marquez 9th with 67 points and Aldeguer 10th with 114 points. But yeah, not bad at all. So then, as I prepare for our winners and losers, there we go. Yeah, get that big flag up, shall we? So, who finished first? Who finished last? Who is our rider of the day? I can tell you who is not our riders of the day, and in my at least in my honest opinion, we have, oh god, it's absolutely all gone horribly wrong. Here we go. So let's begin, shall we, with Alex Rins. Why? Because he binned it, didn't he? Alex Rins absolutely binned it. It was really disappointing, if I'm honest. Really kind of not good at all. So Alex Rins, he ended up binning it with just after 10 laps, which, let's be fair, isn't a good look for anyone, is it? Next up, we've got Bastianini, who again binned it, with 11 laps down. Carl Crutchlow, I'm not counting because mechanical issue, and sadly, I don't actually have a picture for Carl Crutchlow. Now, this next one might be slightly controversial, because they're kind of like in the bottom. When it comes to winners and losers, we go from the bottom to the top, and it is Rolf Fernandez, simply because he was up the front row, possibly easily had the pace to, if not try and win, definitely get on that podium. Completely threw it away, didn't we? Absolutely did. Next up is Top Gun Maverick. Last of the finishes, basically 19th, and again Fabio Quartararo. I mean, we know how good this guy is. He should have done better. He got beaten basically by the Yamaha Pramac, which is essentially the Yamaha customer team. So he's going to be sleeping rough. But luckily, hopefully, we have Hungary. He's got another chance. He's got another chance in Hungary. Next up, we've got Toprak, who he was the lead Yamaha at one point, but in the end, he got passed by Jack Miller, who, let's be fair, Toprak has been outshining Jack Miller most of this season. So yeah. Poor for Toprak. Frankie Morbidelli. He has we know that is VR46 is a good bike. It's just something's obviously not clicking with him, and it's kind of like continuing into the season. Next up, we've got Luca Marini on the Honda. Again, yeah, 13th, but let's be fair, not exactly setting the world alight. But I like to say a positive thing about this guy. He finished in the points. Currently, he doesn't have a ride for next year. That's the big rumour. Does he deserve one? Absolutely, he can. We know that, let's be fair, all the Yamaha bikes this year are kind of sucky in most conditions. So I think that's about as best as he could have really get. Next up is Joan Mir, who, again, on the Honda, yeah, finishing 12th, kind of average, if I'm honest. Yeah. I don't really have much more to say, so let's move on. Let's move on to Brad Binder. Again, completely beaten, as usual, by Pedro Costa, 11th. I kind of expect a bit more from Mr. Binder, but there we go. Next up is Diego Moreira, who finishing ultimately in 10th. Yeah, solid, if unspectacular, but once again, you're on the Honda. If you remember, the Japanese bikes over the last couple of years have just completely fell away from the Aprilas and the Ducatis. Next up, we've got Aldeguer, who ended up finishing 8th. I think solid. Yeah, solid performance from Aldeguer. Agura, again, and the Trackhouse, I've put him quite far back simply because I think that controversial clash, let's say, with Pedro Costa was not particularly very good. But there we go, which is why I put Pedro Costa ahead of him, because this guy, I mean, it's very similar to Catalunya. He's looking so good, and then it all falls apart, and it's not Pedro Costa. We know how good it is. It's just the bike. I think it just eats its tyres. Not as bad, worse in some ways, I think, than the Ducati. But Fabio Di Gianantonio ended up being 5th. Really, let's be fair, really showing off his teammate Morbidelli, isn't he? He's doing an absolutely fabulous job. It's Gianantonio. So we have 4 left, and I'm putting this guy. Yes, he finished on the podium. Yes, he finished 2nd, but I don't think he deserves. Yeah, he deserves 2nd. But in terms of our rider ratings, I've put him 4th overall, simply because, yeah. At no point did he look like even winning the race, and he kind of needed to. He needs to stop. He needs to stop Bezzecchi, basically, going away from that championship. It's not a disaster yet, but it's the points have got bigger, haven't they? As we know. Next up, in 3rd, I put Marc Marquez, simply because this guy is an absolute hero. He's just done amazing things. Has Marc Marquez. He's brilliant. I don't think, with Marc Marquez, you could have asked anything more from Marquez. Also, Bezzecchi, yes, he did win the race, but, and here's the big but, he's got easily, comfortably, he's on the best bike, by far. And that means, yes, the pressure's on. It's very hard. He has fallen off. Look at the sprint races. He likes to launch it and yeet it in the gravel trap. Really, really good job. But I think this guy here, who fought tooth and nails for every position, he was leading up until, just shy of, the first 14 laps, until Bezzecchi ended up making the move. His tyres were going off, and he fought off the very dangerous at the time Agora, which is why I think Francesco Bagnaia ended up definitely deserving our rider of the race. Most definitely. But there you go. That's your MotoGP winners and losers. I mean, what do you think? Do you agree with me? Comment below and let me know. So, there we go. I'll leave you with the winner, Bezzecchi. Dreams do come true. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? The fact that he's won, he's now extended that championship lead. Who is going to beat Bezzecchi? Well, we've got another chance next week in Hungary, which is going to be happening next weekend. But until then, we'll speak to you soon. And also consider, before we do go, giving us a subscribe. Hit that like button, hit that notification button if you do not want to miss a video. Until then, as I mentioned, we'll speak to you soon. Thank you very much.